Advent has long been one of my favorite seasons in the church calendar. I think part of it is I'm the type of person that's kind of drawn towards the darker side of life. I don't know what that says about me, but a lot of my favorite TV shows and movies have always been on the sort of dark side of things. I've always liked music that has a bit of sadness and melancholy to it. Even some of my favorite Bible stories tend to have the darker stuff, stories like Job and some of the Psalms of Lament. I don't know what it is about it, but I have always been drawn to it. I know quite often when people ask for recommendations about TV shows or movies, I will give them some of my favorites, and I always get this weird look in their face, like, what is wrong with him? Now, I think part of the reason why I love Advent so much is that I grew up in a faith tradition that, for one, didn't have a lot of these church calendar rhythms, but also didn't often gravitate towards darkness at all. Our songs were always joyful and celebratory, which is fine in certain seasons of life, don't get me wrong. But it often left me feeling a little bit empty when my own personal life didn't match that tone of celebration and joy. It seemed like everyone always loved Easter Sunday and walking around saying, he is risen indeed. But no one ever wanted to talk about Christ in the garden in Gethsemane, begging God to spare him from what was about to come. The moments of pain, of doubt, of questioning and waiting and wondering, those all seem to be, to me, just as true and sometimes even more true than the jubilant celebrations we find on Easter. Now, saying all that, even for someone who loves the dark side of life like me, 2020 has been a bit much. I've found myself really worn out by it all and tired of the darkness, tired of the worry, tired of the anxiety, and growing more and more interested in the less heavy, the funny, the lighthearted, and really not interested in anything else lately. As someone who prides myself on having seen pretty much any Emmy-winning drama over the last 10, 15 years, I started watching the Great British Bake Off because I just need something light and fun. And there's something light and fun in watching that British man just yell at those people for not cooking their sponge cake well enough. But here we are, another year, another Advent, another season for us to stare back into the darkness and to wait, to hope for light to come. And if you're like me and you're a bit over darkness right now, or over waiting and hoping, I want to encourage you to push past that feeling this year and to join us this Advent season. Because if there was ever a year where we should invite God into the darkness, it is this one. If ever there was a year where the feelings of loss, of isolation, of doubt have a universal truth in them, it is this year. And if ever there was a time where we need the hope of Christ to shine his light into the dark places in our lives and into our world, it is now. One of my favorite books to read this season is a book by Barbara Brown Taylor called Learning to Walk in the Dark. In this book, Taylor writes, quote, "New life starts in the dark. Whether it is a seed in the ground, a baby in the womb, or Jesus in the tomb, it starts in the dark. May this season be a season for us where something is born inside all of us. May this present darkness of 2020 give life and birth to new life and to new love, to hope that transcends even the darkest of times. And may Advent invite us into the darkness so that God can meet us there, like Christ in the garden. And may we come to know that the God who meets us in the darkness is the same God who is the true light of the world." Happy Advent, everyone.